Hello and welcome to another lesson on Practical Research 2. This time, we are going to be discussing the kinds of quantitative research. For our objectives, we are going to discuss the kinds of quantitative research. Number 2, we are going to identify the kinds of quantitative research to be used in a study. And number 3, we are going to cite the importance of research across the field. Now, why is this lesson important? This lesson is important because it will allow us to identify the differences between each kind of quantitative research that is involved in your subject, Practical Research 2. At the same time, it will aid you in giving yourself a vision of the planning process that you are going to take for your research writing in the future. Since you're going to be knowledgeable enough after the end of the lesson about the kinds of research, then it might open an opportunity for you to start planning on what kind of research are you going to take. At the same time, on the last part of the lesson, hopefully, you may have a greater appreciation of research in general and specifically quantitative research. So let us start the discussion for the kinds of quantitative research. So what you are having here is the outline of the discussion for the whole session, and we are going to be discussing this in a brief so everyone could easily understand what the lesson is about. So as you can see here, we have experimental research design. So this is the first part, and experimental research design is divided into three categories. The first one is true experimental research design, then quasi-experimental research design, and the next is pre-experimental research design. Yung difference ng tatlo na yan, yung true experimental, we are assuming na yung lahat ng variables dun sa mga i-compare or pag-aaralan via experiment are equal. They can be treated as equal, or they are observed to be equal. So common application of true experimental research design are those researches which are involving laboratory experiments where two samples or multiple samples are of the same quality. They are being subjected in a controlled environment so as to preserve yung characteristic nila na sinusubukang piliting gawing equal. Then, anything na hindi mag-fall doon sa criteria na dapat equal yung mga any variables na nandoon. At the initial stage, of course, we don't assume that they are going to be equal by the end of the experiment. That's for clarification. Ang sinasabi ko na equal kanina is yung pagiging equal ng mga variables na meron sila at the initial stage of the experimentation or any action that is being taken on them in the process of the experiment. Now, for quasi-experimental design, kapag nagkaroon ng kahit anong disparity between the groups, babagsak siya ngayon doon sa quasi-experimental. Kasi yung salitang quasi, ibig sabihin nun is kumbaga medyo or almost. It's almost a true experimental pero nagkaroon halimbawa ng konting difference between the groups na initial pa lang ay may difference na. So, hindi siya pwedeng i-assume or hindi pwedeng gamitin yung term na true experimental. Pero experimental pa rin yung gagawin, yun nga lang, hindi pwedeng gamitin yung true experimental design as the research design of that kasi nabali nga niya yung assumption for true experimental. Now, yung quasi-experimental design ay pwedeng makategorize into two. Yung first is non-equivalent control group design and the second is interrupted time series design. Yung first, non-equivalent control group design, ginagamit ito kapag nakita nga natin na kaya siya nag-fall doon sa quasi-experimental instead of true experimental is because of yung initial na difference na agad doon sa group bago pa man dumating yung treatments. Okay? So, kung halimbawa, kalimitan ito ay sa mga tao, mahirap kasing sabihin na yung dalawang klase ng individual or dalawang grupo ng tao ay at the initial stage ay talagang equal kasi magkakaiba naman ng karakteristik ang tao. Yung lahat ng factors na posibleng makaapekto doon sa gagawan ng experiment ay hindi natin kabisado. So unless siya ay talagang equal, hindi siya pwedeng isama doon sa isang category. Now, in that case na magkakaroon ng non-equivalent, kaya nga siya tinawag na non-equivalent control group design, is nag-fall siya sa category na quasi-experimental because of the initial difference on the control groups bago pa man mag-undergo ng experiment. So, ibig sabihin din nun, nawawala yung full control ng researcher doon sa lahat ng factors na pwedeng makaapekto doon sa results ng experiment. Now, pagdating dito sa interrupted time series design, ang assumption naman natin is ang nakakaapekto sa kanya is time. So, posible na kung medyo mahaba ang research, posibleng nakakaapekto yung maturity ng isang bagay na ginagawa ng experiment. So, kapag ganon, ang sinusubukan na gamiting method is quasi-experimental because posibleng ang magbago depende sa panahon or posibleng magbago depende sa season. So, what the researchers are doing pagdating sa quasi-experimental na interrupted time series design, nagkakaroon ng multiple tests on different times or on different seasons na magpapakita ng differences of the results depending on time. So, any researches na nag-i-involve ng ganitong situation ay pwede nating tawaging quasi-experimental for the reason na siya ay affected ng time. Next, we have pre-experimental design. So kung mapapansin nyo, meron tayong binabanggit lagi na control group pagdating dun sa experimental research design and quasi-experimental research design. What if nawala or hindi kailangan ng consideration for a control group? What will happen is it will fall under pre-experimental research design. Again, that's one of the considerations para matawag na pre-experimental. Kapag wala tayong pakialam sa control group or talagang wala tayong control group, magpo-fall siya under pre-experimental. At the same time, posible rin tayong magkaroon ng experimental research design kapag ang pinag-aaralan natin ay effect ng isang grupo dun sa isa pang grupo or effect ng isang situation on one group or a certain specimen or individual. Now, pre-experimental research design is divided into three. The first one is one-shot case study research design. One-shot case study research design is a kind of research design wherein you are just doing a treatment or experimentation on one group. Kaya nga sa tinawag na one-shot case study design. Plus, you are just doing this experimentation only once. So, the point of reference or point of comparison is 0. So, for example, a teacher is doing an experiment on the kind of teaching method that will be effective on a certain group of students. Now, to approach one-shot case study research design, he will teach the students and then give them assessments, and after the assessment, when the assessment goes well, then therefore he can conclude that the treatment or the experimental teaching method is effective. So there's only one way to tell whether the experiment was successful or not. That is when your expectation for that one-shot case study became successful. And if it fails, then therefore the experimentation or the hypothesis for that experimentation also fails. Next one, we have the one group pre-test post-test research design. So ang mapapansin nyo, yung term na ginamit dito is pre-test post-test. So therefore, yung isang grupo, sa halip na dalawang grupo yung pagko-compare natin to get the results that we are hypothesizing of, what we are doing here in pre-experimental research design under one group pre-test post-test is that the experimental group will be given a pre-test or initial assessment, and then it will be given treatments or experimentation, and after that, it will be given another assessment or it will be rendered an observation on the possible changes that happen. If you're assuming that the group will be enhanced after the experiment, then the way to understand it, or the way to satisfy the assumption is by comparing the result of the pretest or pre-observation and the post-test or post-observation. If there is enough evidence for you to justify that the pretest result is way below the post-test result, or the other way of saying it is the post-test result is significantly higher than the pretest result, then therefore we can maybe conclude that the experimentation or the treatment that you did is also successful. The last one is the static group comparison. So for static group comparison, you may have two groups or multiple groups. However, what you are just looking at is the experimental group. What do I mean by that? So for example, you have two groups. The first one is your experimental group, and then the other one is the static group, meaning you just let the static group on its natural environment, and then you give your treatment on your experimental group. However, the other way of doing it for static group comparison is you may have multiple static groups and one single experimental group. So you will be able to compare the change that happened on your experimental group with the multiple static groups. So the more that you have more static groups, it allows you to compare your experimental groups and the result of your experiment into multiple variables or multiple groups that are having different variables depending on their own environment. So for example, you have 4 different plant groups, and you give experimentation, or you did experimentation into one group, which now will be called as your experimental group, and then you have multiple, let us assume 3 maybe, static groups. Then after your experiment, the results will be compared as to what change happened in your experimental group in comparison to what is in the natural environment of your static groups. So this will allow you na ma-compare kung ano yung difference nung experimental group result mo in comparison to that of the static groups which are having different situations on their own. So for example, your plant B, C, and D are planted on different kinds of soil initially as your static groups, pero wala ka namang ginawa sa mga yon, kaya mo siya kinonsider na static group, and then you created a experimental group na may ginawa kang modification on the planting material, and so mako-compare mo ngayon yung difference ng results one by one. So your plant group A will be compared with plant group B, and then another comparison will be made with plant group A and plant group C, and then plant group A with plant group D. Not necessarily to compare plant groups B, C, and D, because those are static groups. We don't care with the comparison or difference between those static groups. What we are looking at here is the difference between your experimental group and your static groups. Kahit pa yan ay isang static group lamang or multiple static groups.